Hello, guys. So I was asked to make a review on White Guardian. She's one of the special passers we were able to get recently, and she does have a very interesting kit. So let's start talking about it. First, I love her art, and she's got a lot of swag, but her skills, even though they might be a little bit conditional and extremely good for COT, can have other uses. So stat-wise, she's pretty good. She has extremely high technique and vitality, who works extremely well with her kit. Speed could have been a bit higher, but I mean, hey, it's not that big of a deal. We can work around that with the stone slots. So if we look at her skills, she's a passer, recover target's action bar, increase pass effect 40%, and targets critical damage by 40. Just a pretty nice pass, 10-minute cooldown, the usual. Show me what you've got. This is where it starts getting more interesting. Decrease the inflicted damage by 10% and increase the pass effect by 20% for 12 minutes when you're attacked. So, as much as those numbers are not that high, 12 minutes is, especially in endgame, a high amount of time, especially if you put her right in front of four-man line. Two of them can try a penetrator. If you work it around, you can try to stack this pretty easily, even in PvP and in PvE. There's a lot more options to do it. On top of it, they'll have a lot of trouble taking her down. And this will allow you to stack another one of her buffs. So if you're able to do this correctly, you should be able to get 100% pass effect increase, who I want to point out, the only other player I know who can do that is Balteon, who's pretty damn good. Now, this is one of the skills that has actually had a few technical bugs, but what it does mean is it decreases the damage that allies receive by 10% and recovers her own life by 35% when you receive a penetration attack. So if there is a co-op defense and she is being attacked, everyone gets 100% DR, and she alone is going to heal 35%. Now, there has been a few talks about it not working correctly. They're saying they're going to fix it. I mean, it depends if you're lucky or not. If you face her in PvE, I mean, it's always better it doesn't activate. But if she's on your team, it's just kind of frustrating because that means you're not blocking. And that's the whole point of having a White Guardian. And then the last skill is increase the pass effect and reflex by 60% for 8 minutes when being stolen upon. Now, the reason why this is a little bit more of a technical skill is for this to work, it's a buff. So if you die, you lose it. So you need to be out reflexed. So you don't want to build her for reflex, but it's going to give you reflex. So this is really a skill that you got to ask yourself, how do you want you to build her? Knowing that if it activates 60% reflex is actually a pretty big ass buff. It's bigger than what you would get with 2 to 3 reflex stones equipped. So especially in PvE, you don't want to actually build her for reflex, who's going to allow you to have some much more interesting builds. And even in PvP, if she gets stolen upon, that does mean that the next time she gets the ball, there's a lower chance of that happening, and she's going to be doing some even nicer passes. Especially with utility strikers, this is a skill that you want to exploit. If you're trying to do a one-hit KO style or you just want her to be a wall, then just build her up for reflex. So I'll be talking about the two different builds you can use for White Guardian, but they both have their merits and their problems. So then chain-wise, I'm going to say affection with everyone is just a damn good move. The best ones I would say from the list are going to be, of course, William. Vitos is not bad. Ravi Bor, I know people who love them. Why not? We're thinking of Nawazu as always. I mean, even Guinevere for her ace can be not bad if you have 11 Tor somewhere around. And Kay is kind of weak as a goalkeeper, but there's a pretty decent chance you can work around to try to stick one of these players in. Especially if you're using her, that means you're not trying to copy the meta, so you might be trying something that's a bit more complex, but who works well. Now, looking at her stones, as I said, there's two ways to build her. The first one is to just try to build her as the best passer possible. And you're going to want her to be holding the ball. So this means that to be able to stack, show me what you've got, and try stealing this, you need to be holding the ball. And to hold the ball, you need speed, who is not her specialty. I'm going to imagine two different scenarios. One, you have enough spirit. One, you don't. It makes a very little difference, but it's still nice to point out. So if you're a person who usually doesn't have that much spirit, you're going to be going with the Wormwind Pass Unique. You're going to go with the Light Pass Stone just because it's going to give that little nice buff. And you can just throw in an Ardor Speed Stone because, again, we just want her to be holding the ball whatever happens. And in the center slot, again, a Light Pass Stone would still be better than an Ardor one. But if you're able to still hold the ball the most of the time, then it's fine. Now, this is really good in the sense that you have no reflex and you have some really nice pass buffing. So with this, you're going to be able to go fast and you're going to be able to generate spirit. Now, if you really don't want to generate spirit, or you got a player who just doesn't care, a utility striker, and you got some spirit generating in the team high enough, you could always decide instead to use the light unique pass stone. It's a little bit weaker in pass effect, but it does regenerate action bar, who would confirm automatically that you would start at the stone. Then you would push the Ardor Pass Stone and a Wormwind Speed Stone. And in the Prime slot, you can do Light or Ardor. Again, it depends how fast she is. Again, the idea here is for her to be stolen upon, and to be stolen upon, she needs to be holding the ball. Now, instead, if you've decided that you just don't care, you don't want her to be out reflex, you want her to be a tank that just hold on the ball and end up giving the ball again and again to your line, especially in certain PvE teams. I've seen a few COT formations that use two of them. Like this, there's just no way to penetrate. What you're going to do usually is you're going to throw, again, the Wormwind Pass Unique or the Light. That's really up to you. And then you're going to throw in the Ardor Reflex Stone, and you're going to throw in another Ardor Reflex Stone. And like this, she's going to have decent speed, decent action bar, and some insanely high reflex. The only sad part about this is you're not going to be taking advantage of this. And again, this does not activate when she is being killed, so it's not going to remain. So that's the basic idea on how you can build her, either reflex-wise or pass-wise. It really depends the formation and what you're aiming for. And as always, you can switch out her stones. I do know her position is in front line, but most of the time you're going to find her mid in 4-man lines just to block. And some people have actually been experimenting as a center mid, who does make her very strong, and she does counter Metatron if you're putting for a reflex build. But I would still say be careful because there's just too many strong legends mid, and unless you've really well built her with some insane passives, it might not work that well. But she is a good replacement for Sammy if you want to try it out. I've seen some really strong teams use her. It was kind of surprising. So I hope this helps you guys understand how White Guardian works. If you have any comments, opinion, write them in the description. And again, I don't believe I know anything, but this is from what I've seen. Have a good day, guys.